Hello and welcome back to Loud Creations. This is the first video in my Backyard Brews series. I have a number of herbs growing in the backyard. I have some weeds that you can make stuff out of. And we also have a little garden going and a plum tree and a cherry tree. So there's some things I could be making mead out of. So I decided to kind of create a new playlist. And yeah, so here I am. This video is for a parsley citrus mead. Whether or not it's going to be good, time will only tell, but I did make a parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme mead that actually was pretty good. It's a little odd because you associate those herbs with soup, so having it not be salty but sweet instead is a little different, but I'd say overall that mead turned out pretty well. So I have an insane amount of parsley, or I had an insane amount of parsley. I had, I think, about 4 plants that were just about to go to seed. They were enormous. I had 2 of them in this little raised planter bed that had a little greenhouse over it. And it was going strong and I had to do something with it. So I took some, made some soup, did other stuff with it, dried some, and I decided to make some mead. So how did I go about making this mead? Well, I just did my usual thing. First thing I did is I boiled about a half a gallon of water. So while that was going, I got my parsley. I would say I got a couple good bunches of parsley from the backyard. I have my Go Firm. I had some lemon zest and some orange zest, and that's the citrus part. And for this, I'm using 3 pounds of honey as well, and Lalvin 71B yeast, as well as a little bit of black tea. Second step. I chopped up the parsley roughly and I put it into a mesh bag, which I then added to the boiling water, along with I'd say about the zest of about half an orange and the zest of about 1 lemon. I let that steep I covered it and I let it steep for about 15 minutes. While that was going, I took my sanitized glass and I added half a teaspoon of Go Firm. And then I set that aside for when I'm gonna add stuff to that. After it was done steeping, I went ahead and removed the parsley. I squeezed out all the juices from the bag and I took that out, leaving the lemon and orange zest in there. Then I went ahead and added my 3 pounds of honey and I stirred it really well until the honey was fully dissolved. And then I took a little bit of that honey mixture and I put it into the glass with the Go Firm and stirred that up and set it aside to let it get going. Next, I poured the liquid into the carboy and then I topped it off with cool water. And once the Go Firm had cooled down to body temperature, I went ahead and I pitched my Lalvin 71B yeast and stirred that up and set that aside to let the yeast wake up. And after the yeast started to wake up and the liquid in the carboy was at about body temperature, I went ahead and pitched the yeast slurry and then I put a bung on there and I shook it up really well and to get that oxygen in there, make a happy environment for the yeast. And then I went ahead and took a gravity reading. The gravity for this one was 1.11. I racked this about, a couple weeks after I had started the mead. And at that point, the gravity was at 1.014. And I assumed that the yeast had met its maximum alcohol, which is approximately 14%. And then when I double checked in a couple weeks, and it was still 1.14. And at that time, I went ahead and I added 1/3 cup of orange juice approximately. And I also pasteurized it. So this is where we're at now. So it's not super duper sweet, but there's still residual residual sweetness. And I didn't add any extra honey to this, but I did add the orange juice and I pasteurized it. So it's not a super sweet mead, but there are some sugars left in there. So it should have a nice little bit of sweetness to it. And yeah, next step for this is to go ahead and bottle it. Next time you see me, I will be back for a tasting. So I will see you shortly. Thank you. Okay, I am back and I have bottled my Parsley citrus mead. This mead is under 2 months old, so we'll see how it tastes. And it is 12.5% ABV. It's my estimate anyway. And before I taste it, I wanted to just talk about like what value parsley might bring to a beverage. I have my big book of herbal medicine. And just to name a few things, parsley is rich in vitamin C and vitamin K. And it also can help treat poor fluid circulation in the legs. It can stimulate kidney function. It is good for helping your breath smells fresh. That's why it's a garnish on the plate, I think. I don't let's see. And just a little bit more about vitamin K. Vitamin K is supportive of bone health and essential for blood clotting. And vitamin A is also in parsley, which is important for the eyes. So I've preserved the essence of parsley in my mead here, and now I'm going to go ahead and have a taste. And this one, I also put lemon and orange zest in here to pair the parsley with some citrus. I also added a little bit of orange juice into secondary. So that is a crystal clear. I can see my fingerprints on the glass through the mead. So that's a good sign. I can smell the parsley. It's such an odd thing because it just is always going to make me think of soup. Okay, so I put both lemon and orange in here, so there's definitely a citrus smell coming off of this, but I can also pick up the parsley because it just, one of these things is not like the other kind of thing. So hopefully this tastes good. I let it go to a gravity of 1.014. I didn't back sweeten, but I did add some orange juice. So let's see how this tastes. Interesting. I gotta blow my nose. Seasonal allergies disrupting my recording. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna go ahead and take a sip of this and see how it tastes. Okay, I can really taste the orange. The lemon, not so much. Maybe I just am picking up more on the orange flavor or that orange essence. And I definitely, the aftertaste is all parsley, but it's not overpowering. It's just, it's a little bit different, I gotta say. I like that there are vitamins and minerals and medicinal uses for the herb that I put in here. So that kind of makes it even more enjoyable. I would say that this is a good beverage for like a summer day. It's bright, you know, with the citrus. Yeah, that's pretty good. If you like parsley and you don't get weirded out by putting something like parsley, rosemary, sage, thyme, oregano all those kinds of spices into a sweet beverage, then this would be your drink. But if for some people, I could see how that would make it a little less desirable. Overall, I would say this turned out wonderful. It turned out better than I thought it would. I wasn't so sure. I already had made the parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme mead, and this definitely has a similar flavor to it. Although I added orange to this, which I really love orange in mead. It's my new thing. I was into the extracts, and now I'm like adding orange to everything. We'll see where this goes from here. Anyway, I hope this video was useful. If you like to get creative with your meads and have a more herbal flavor to them, then I'd highly recommend some parsley citrus mead. Get your vitamin C, drink your medicine, and yeah, I hope this video is useful, and I will see you next time. Thank you.